What I'm hearing is that the Naira is slightly stronger today amid foreign investor interest in our fixed income market.
Hi Wole, thanks for having me. Naira, like you said, a bit stronger. Actually, for most of the trading sessions for this week, we've had the Naira trading within a very tight range. Actually, albeit getting tighter and tighter from Monday up until today. Opening the week at 158 levels, closing today at 158.10 levels. That really has been a very tight range that we've not seen for a while now on the currency front. Not sentiment overall generally improving. Demand at the WDAS window reducing. We're seeing CBN offering 250 on Monday, 180 today, and selling the same amount. Rate stable. Seems some form of stability is creeping back into the Naira, into the foreign currency window. Overall, things look healthy. We just expect that it continues like this for a while.
Well, I wonder if we can call this normal times, because of course we saw a lot of volatility a few weeks ago in the FX market and of course in the money market. But like you mentioned, the central bank auctioned $180 million today, down from $250 million at Monday's auction. What can we read into that?
Well, obviously, it just means that the demand is actually winning at that window. I mean, two things I might want to deduce from that is the fact that demand is winning at that window, or the fact that supply outside of that window is able to take care of demand that typically would have flown into that window. But then what it means for me is that I see further gains on the Naira, because if those supplies are not flowing to the CBN window, that means they are obviously much cheaper. The sources for this of the supply are obviously much cheaper than the CBN window.
All right,
that's what I would infer on that.
Okay, I was going to ask, you said you are seeing possibly further strengthening. It's at 158.20 today or thereabouts. Where do you see it going, say, into next week?
Well, I mean, looking at the overall indices, I think there might be a bias for more strengthening, albeit not sharply or the likes. We think that flows into the countries are beginning to get a bit of uptick. The outlook on the rates are not seeing it further higher, so you might see some people that might want to take advantage of whatever yields that you have currently and lock into it in the short to medium term. So that might be an additional boost on the currency in the short term. Those are our thoughts for now.
Well, clearly Nigerian yields are very attractive in the emerging market context, but your thoughts on liquidity in the money market? I think that's something we really need to watch, because it has had a very strong bearing on where the Naira goes. Your thoughts on where we are now? I'm hearing overnight rates at about 14%.
Yeah, liquidity has been, the market has been fairly liquid, and I think it will continue into the next liquidity cycle injection, which is typically done on the state government funding for states and local governments and the rest. That we think would continue. Albeit you might experience some tightness, but I do not think that those sharp spikes that we saw a few weeks back into the high 30s and the 40 levels, we're going to see a repeat of it. Overall, I think the measures that the central banks are putting in place is actually kind of curtailing the liquidity flows on the SSCs. No much high drive to mop up liquidities that we typically would have experienced previously. A lot of instruments are matured, and the liquidity they're still in the market for now. Those are the few things that happened between when we had a brief spike on the rates and until now. So yeah, rates might actually inch up gradually, which typically would react to the forces of demand and supply and liquidity end. But I do not think anything outside of the normal range would happen this time around.
And what about the impact of the sovereign wealth fund? We know it's still going to take a while for it to get going. We know that the board has been constituted, and so it's just a matter of time for us to begin to see them making investments. We know a huge focus is infrastructure, but very quickly, your thoughts on how it could impact our financial markets?
Overall, we'd want to get a bit more clarity on the modalities and functionalities and how it works, but in a general sense, we think that it's one of the pluses into the market, into the economy in general. We think that the idea of actually kicking it off and implementing it and seeing to the fact that measures towards providing a safe buffer, as it were, have now been done in such a vehicle. We think that that contributes greatly in a sense to the economic outlook, and as such we expect that such a positive sentiment would obviously filter into our markets, and we'll definitely see the benefits in terms of price stability, in terms of yield stability, and in terms of flows into our equity markets overall.
All right, okay. It's difficult to say by the look of your face, but I hope it has been a profitable day for you. Thank you so much for joining us on CNBC Africa.